Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello there and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. I do hope you're all very well and settling into this new year. You're in for a treat this week because we're going to be discussing spirit guides. Also in the show this week, we're going to be talking about, we're going to channel your weekly channeling from the words of spirit are going to come in. And then later on in the show, we will have this week's energy forecast reading that will hopefully help you navigate your way through the course of this week. So before we dive deep in this week's topic, I just want to check in with you all and see how you are all doing. I know personally, I've noticed a significant change in this new year of 2023. I'm having to release my idea of what I feel is the right choice, the right direction, and just trust that little bit more and go with the flow in that aspect of things. Obviously, I'm making conscious choices alongside that flow state, but I'm more relaxed about it. There's no sort of desire to push things and make things happen sort of thing. Just taking one step at a time. So that's how I'm approaching this year so far. So maybe you could share how you're getting on with this year, or at least have a think about it. You know, maybe it's something that you don't think about. Maybe this will help you to assess where you're at in your life so far this year. Okay, so let's move on to this week's topic. We're talking about spirit guides. And so what is a spirit guide, first of all? Well, in my experience, working with mine, a spirit guide is part of your soul group. So before you come down into the earth plane, you have a soul group, and you have this discussion, you have this agreement, shall we say, with your spirit guide, or at least at that point, before you're agreeing it, you're discussing with other souls in your soul group, and you make this pact, this agreement that they're going to guide you whilst you're in your incarnation within the earth plane. And maybe you've actually helped them in their lifetime on a different dimension, either on their life earth plane or a different dimension, and maybe it's your turn to help them and their turn to help you. But what you'll find is that this has been decided before you actually come down here. And so this agreement is formed when you're putting your soul plan together before you come into the earth plane. And so when you're deciding what lessons you're going to learn, and the people and the other souls that you're going to interact with, and the lessons that they're going to learn, and it's all very complex. But as you can imagine, all this information that you decide before you come down here on the earth plane is in such fine detail that when you come down here as a soul on the earth plane, most of us don't remember any of that, because our consciousness, if you like, has been wiped, so that we have a clean slate, so that we can learn these lessons that we've agreed to learn without any sort of influence, any biased decision-making processes while we're going through them. Because some of the lessons, I'm sure we'll all agree on here, that we wouldn't necessarily want to learn, would we? Because, well, I don't want to go through that. Why would I? But actually, going through it is part of your evolution, and it's part of your soul contract. And so why I bring this up, your spirit guide, or guides, because we have more than one for various tasks, various duties, but your main principal spirit guide is there to help you stay on track and follow your soul plan. And so they'll inspire you, they'll nudge you in the right direction, they'll give you that inspiration there, like I say. But the beauty of having spirit guides is they will always offer information, they'll give you healing, and but they'll never force anything upon you, if that makes sense. It's all down to the fact that we all have free will. So we have a choice whether we listen to their inspiration, the information that they're guiding us, or whether we choose to go our own way and again, learn from our lessons in that way. But what you will find when you've made a soul agreement, a soul plan prior to coming down here on the earth plane, there's lots of twists and turns, multiple versions of yourself all occurring at the same time. And it's where we place our focus and our intention will decide which version of ourselves that we're going to be living our life in, if that makes sense. So if you do take an uninspired choice, shall we say, and it deviates you off of your life path, you will find that eventually you will come back onto your soul plan and onto your life path. It's just the fact that your spirit guides are there to help guide you make a more quicker choice that is, like I say, in alignment with your soul plan there. And so everything will lead back to the soul plan, but your guides are there just to make things a lot easier for you so that you tick all the boxes and you basically fulfill your soul plan. So that's what our spirit guides are there for as well. In order to interact with them and know them and get to know them, in my experience, we have to go through a process of, I went through deep meditation. I was instructed how to meet them. I met my spirit guides. I was introduced. It was a beautiful, loving experience, but that's the way that I got to meet them. Some of you may know them. You may have known them since you were a young child. Some people talk about having an invisible friend, and they talk about, that they're over there, they're standing over there, I play with them, and all of this. And so you may have had them, been aware of them since being a young child. And with this being the case, that is a beautiful connection to have. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise, that you're making it up. They're your imaginary friend. They're not at all. They're part of your soul group. They in fact, quite possibly, like I say, could be your spirit guide, and you're there right from the beginning, interacting with them, if you're lucky enough to do that. With myself, I trained, I developed as a spiritual medium, and part of that training was getting to know the spirit guide there and building that level of trust, building that relationship up so that we can work together in unison and help one another out in that respect. So in order to do that, you've got to build that level of trust up, that trust bond, and then meeting them, it kind of anchors that, because you can associate their vibration, the way that they feel, their energy. If you're lucky enough to have the gift of clairaudience, you will hear them communicate with you through clairaudience. You will sense them. They will show you images in your third eye, your clairvoyance as well, if you have that gift. And they'll use the path of least resistance in order to communicate the information and the inspiration to you. So as you're developing your spiritual gifts, you'll be able to communicate with them on a stronger, more positive level. But in the beginning, it can be a little bit intimidating, I'll be honest with you, and you can be second guessing what you're experiencing, what you're feeling. But as you progress with your development, with your mediumship, with your understanding of spirit guides, it does become a lot easier. And that's where this element of trust is cemented in that. They also, what they do is, they present subtle changes in and around your physical presence. So they'll let you know that they are around. I use the term marker or energy signature to describe this process when your spirit guides are around, and they'll bring this energy in to let you know that it is them and they're there working with you. They're right other side of you. Again, this will anchor that level of trust as you're communicating with them. And many of them use different methods to do this. You may feel the energy around your physicality changing. It might suddenly go cold. You may feel like pressure on your shoulder. It's very specific to you and your spirit guide, very individual. And when you are developing this connection with them, you will assign this energy marker, this signature, so that you know that it is them. And so once you've done that, that will build that level of trust up with them as well. What your spirit guides will do is they'll offer suggestions to you. You know, if you're faced with a problem in your physical life, and they are there around you, they'll offer suggestions. So they might show this in your third eye. They might speak to you directly, you know, through your gift of clear audience. And when they're doing that, they will never tell you what to do. Now, this is the difference, you see, because your spirit guides, they can't infiltrate your free will. But what they can do is show you the bigger picture and lay the cards out on the table, so to speak, so that you can see what is up for grabs in terms of potential choices that you could take. And your spirit guides will probably, they will point out the best route or the best choice for you to make, but they will never tell you to make that decision. They'll leave that up to you. And obviously, if you listen to their inspiration and if you choose to take that choice, then this will be the path of least resistance on your soul plan, and things will run a lot more smoothly and a lot more easily for you once you follow that guidance. But it is entirely up to you. Your guides are there to just help you navigate your way through your soul plan, and like I say, help you remember what you've agreed on before you incarnated down here in your earth-bound incarnation. What you will find is they will help you to connect with alternative dimensions. Now, what I'm talking about there is connecting with spirit beings that maybe are earthbound, spirit beings that are actually in the world of spirit. So you may have family or loved ones or friends in the world of spirit. Now, when you've built that connection up with your spirit guide, don't be afraid to ask. You know, this is part of it, you know, giving and taking, and ask questions. You know, if you want to know anything, ask them questions. And so if you'd like to communicate with one of your family, your friends there in the world of spirit, ask your spirit guide. They can't always guarantee that this connection will be made, but the fact that you've asked and you've put it out there, they will do their utmost to make sure that that message is passed on. And then it is down to that individual soul. So even though we're in the world of spirit, we still have that free will. So if your family member or loved one or whoever it is in the world of spirit agrees to come and communicate with you, or at least make their presence known to you, then with you asking your spirit guide, you've put that message out there. So don't be afraid to ask. And of course, any information that your guides bring forward to you, you should always be asking questions, like as if you're having a conversation, a standard conversation, basically, with anybody down here on the earth plane. You know, it's a two-way dialogue. Don't just think that they're just going to tell you everything, because they won't. You have to ask questions. You have to engage in conversation with them. Like I say, this conversation can happen in many ways. It can be just an energy form, a feeling, a vibration. If something feels good, you'll feel light. If something feels bad, you'll feel heavy and restricted. They may use your gift of clairvoyance. They may show you symbology to answer your question. If you're lucky enough, they may tell you directly using clairaudience. So they can work in many different ways. You may even have that clear cognizance, that clear knowing. You just have a feeling, you know that that's the right choice to make. And part of that is the influence from your spirit guides there. They're impressing that energy onto you. And it's up to you to decide, to decipher that energy so that you can feel that that is your right choice to make. Again, they're not forcing you to make that decision, but they're just showing you the options, and the choice is up to you. So spirit guides, also, you want to show them that level of respect as you're having the communications with them. I mean, for example, we've all seen a lot of these paranormal shows, haven't we, on various channels there. And you've seen some of the presenters, they show a level of disrespect, in my opinion, the way that they interact with the spirit world. They use harsh language. They do not say please. They do not say thank you. There's an expectation there. There's a level of lower based frequency interactions, what I've observed anyway, with most of them, not all of them, but with most of them. And so with your spirit guide, it's a very personal thing to you and your spirit guide. It's a very intimate conversation, if this makes sense. And so you're wanting to show that level of respect, by using your good sense of manners, saying please and saying thank you, and, just not being aggressive in your communications. If something doesn't go right, and maybe you may consider that they haven't helped you, you may feel a little bit disappointed. Well, in actual fact, you shouldn't show that level of disappointment to them. You should question it, obviously, but in a loving, respectful manner. Maybe your guides have been assigned to step back at that point in your life when you expected them to come in and tell you what to do. And like we've said earlier, they will never tell you what to do. They will show you options. The choice is always yours. So don't be assigning blame to your spirit guides. Again, that is a mark of disrespect to them. And you've got to understand the effort that they make on the other side, your spirit guide, in order to bring forward all this information, all this healing to you, and all this guidance to you. Yes, they're there with you 100% throughout the course of your life. And you do have various guides that come to the foreground and then take a back step, but they're still in communication with you. They're still observing you. They're still there. Even if another guide steps in for a period of time there with you. That's been my experience anyway. And so with this being the case, even that said, they do put a great deal of effort and energy to hold their frequency in this dimension and come in and share that information with us. Yes, we're linked to them by an energetic cord. Like I say, before we come down here, they're assigned to us, so we're linked in that respect. But still, with that being the case, there is a lot of energy that they do use in order to communicate with us. And so showing that level of respect there to them is paramount in my experience. And of course, when you build that level of trust up with your spirit guide, then this level of respect there follows that. So I just thought I'd bring that to the conversation with this. Also, listen. You need to listen to them more. Your spirit guides will use the path of least resistance. We've already mentioned clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. They'll put the feelings on you as well. So listen to those feelings that are coming in. They'll always get a message to you, one way, shape or form. And it's up to you to just let that information flow through you. Don't judge it. Just observe it. And then once you've observed that information, whether it's a feeling, like I say, an image, maybe it's directly through clairaudience, then you can make that assessment. Then you can make that choice of that information that's shared with you. But one thing you need to remember is that when you're connecting on a pure level there, with trust, with respect, with your spirit guides, you've got to understand that energy does not lie. And so the information that is shared with you is gospel. And so, you need to respect that process and respect the way that they're interacting on that level. Now, what I'd like to do is just talk you through a few things that I've experienced with my spirit guides. Excuse me. And I've already mentioned how I met my guide. It was through developing with the the spiritualist church there and going in deep meditations with them, guided meditations. And then I got to meet them that way. We established an energy marker. And then from making that connection and assigning names to my guides, we then proceeded forward with building up that level of trust bond. And then it's a case of stretching your spiritual gifts and abilities. So, when they are communicating with you, it's trusting the process and then having that courage to interact with them, to communicate with them. So maybe in your thoughts there, sending thoughts out to your spirit guides and just waiting patiently for that answer to come in and observing all of your natural senses, because that will be their answer. So whatever's the dominant sense will pick up on their answer. So for me, it was that's how I met my spirit guides. And they've been very instrumental in all of the work that I do, because they've helped with soul rescue work when I've gone into various buildings, locations where there are lost souls that are wanting some help to move them over to the other side. My guides have helped me to have that direct communication with them, that safe guidance as well, in order to help them transition into the world of light back home, so to speak. So having that direct communication with the guide will help you with this process, because they'll act as an intermediary, if that makes sense, to make that communication flow better with any other spirit being that you're communicating with. And of course, they'll put those safety measures in place so that whatever spirit being is around that you're communicating with won't take diabolical liberties with you when they're communicating with you. And your spirit guide will ensure that that process, should you ask them to do so, because it's all down to free will, if you ask them to put that protection, that safety there, they will do that. But that is part of their role as well. And that's what I've experienced as well. And they've also helped me, as I've mentioned, connect with my loved ones in the world of spirit. And I've had some wonderful conversations with them since my loved ones have passed. And that is all attributed to the connection and the respect that I have with my spirit guide. Because like I say, they kind of buffer that call, that conversation with your loved ones, and they establish that link. And so that that communication can be a lot stronger than maybe perhaps it wouldn't be without their interaction. So the spirit guides are very instrumental in doing that. They help on paranormal investigations, in my experience anyway. Again, they're there as like an intermediate being. They're there to help bridge that connection, and also they're there to sort of influence you, inspire you where you need to work, where you need to go in that location. And they will also bring forward the information of the location, allowing that energy to tell its story. So your guides will connect behind the scenes all of that energy so that you can interpret it and then bring it forward in your paranormal investigation. And again, it all starts with building those links up, that trust bond with your spirit guides, so that you can work with them at this level. Because without having that level of trust there, you're just going to say any old nonsense, so to speak. Whereas when you have your guides there, you ask the questions to them, and respectfully you listen and you share that information, and you're trusting the information that they're giving you. Even if there's other people in that environment that are maybe doubting what you're saying, the fact that you've built this trust bond up, this relationship over the course of many years with your spirit guides, will ensure that that information on some level is correct. Okay, so trusting that information that's coming through. With my guides, they help inspire me with projects, with ideas, with new opportunities. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about content such as online development classes as well. All of that is inspired and brought through from my guides. And I've just listened and I've dictated that information. I've obviously put an element of myself into that, but predominantly all of that content is channeled through from spirit, and that is attributed to my spirit guides. And again, having that trust bond in the relationship with them. So they've brought all that content through. They've also, every week, they never fail to bring forward lots of inspirational information regarding teaching spiritual development classes. And I teach a couple of classes every week. And so each class is different, and all of those classes are designed by my spirit guides. So I take time out of my week, every week, to sit down with my guides and tune into them and ask them, what would you like me to teach this week? And I just sit there and I wait in the silence, and then I get the inspiration that comes in. Now, again, like I was saying earlier, it's up to me whether I decide to follow what they're telling me, or I could go off on a tangent on myself, but I always trust their wisdom because they can see the bigger picture and they know what the students would benefit from learning that particular time, that particular week. So what I do, I basically listen to the inspiration that they're bringing through. I dictate that, bring it down, and then I put it into a format which would enable me to teach that to my students there. So they bring all of that. And again, it's about setting boundaries. It's about setting time out with your guides and having that quiet time so that that inspiration can come in. It has more of a clearer opportunity in doing that. Obviously, this radio show is one of them as well. My spirit guides bring in the content, again, similar to the teachings, similar to the lessons. Every week, I make space for that inspiration time with my guides, and they bring the content in every week, what we need to, what the subject is of the show. And again, around that, what happens is I generally channel the information as I'm speaking, like I am right now. They give me a subject matter, they give me an outline of the show, and then I just link into the vibration of that content that they've brought through, and just allow the my voice just to do its own thing. Again, this is the inspiration coming through from the world of the spirit. So they help me in all manner and aspects of my life. They also help me to make better conscious decisions. And like we were saying earlier, they'll lay out various scenarios and they'll encourage me which is the best choice and which is the best option to take. Now, in any given moment, it is always the individual's choice which option they wish to choose. But I've learnt the hard way over the years that you are to trust them implicitly. You know, they have your betterment at heart there, and they can see the bigger picture. They can see your soul agreement. And so over the years, I've learnt not to be as stubborn as I was, and I trust them with their divine wisdom. So having this connection with your spirit guides can help you in every aspect of your life because they see the bigger picture. They know everybody's energy. They know all the interactions, your career. They know your love life. They know everything. So it's about trusting them, trusting the information that you receive from them, and also having that respect and interaction with them. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and then just hold that space and listen with your senses there, as they will always bring forward an answer to your questions. So I hope that information has helped you and gave you some sort of idea or perspective on what spirit guides are and how you can interact with them in your day-to-day lives. Well, next, we're moving on to the next segment of the show, which is the weekly channeling, which sees me becoming a vessel in order for spirit to bring their wisdom through and align with my vibrations. They do change my voice, so do be aware of that. Don't be too alarmed. It's simply the blending of the communicator's energy with mine in order to bring forward, that authentic information. And what I do love about channeling is, like you guys and girls that are listening, I've no idea what's going to come through. And so it's always nice for me to listen to it afterwards as well, in order to understand what communicators have come through and the messages that they've brought through for us all. So we can all learn if we're willing to listen to the words of spirit. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling.
Absolutely wonderful to come through and communicate with you all on this fine day. We have many things to convey to you. One of them is all about personal development and responsibility. What we're referring to with this topic is knowing who you are and why you came here on the earth plane. One of the greatest responsibilities you can ever have is having that responsibility for your light, for your sensitivity, for your purpose. There's a lot to consider there, but we understand that many of you that perhaps have had encounters in your life have given some of your energy, your time, attention to the needs, the wants, the desires of others. And in doing so, you have diluted your strength of who you are, your purpose on the earth plane, and indeed you've slowed the process down. What we're wanting you to do is just to be aware of the precious gift that you have, which is your light, which is your life. And we want you to connect with it. We say we desire you to connect with it. Obviously, it is your choice whether you decide to or not. But we would certainly encourage it for you to embrace the truth of who you are. Always connect with your heart and how something feels to you. And if something feels like it's draining you, or whether it's making you feel heavy or small, then that is obviously the incorrect choice for you to follow. Whereas if you feel that joy in your heart, that feeling of expansion and growth and happiness, with an excitement, shall we say, for the adventures that are going to unfold, then that is obviously the correct choice, the path for you to take. So it's just reminding you of these vibrations that are always around you, offering support and guidance, should you choose to accept it or not. But the responsibility is yours. So if anything untoward or anything that doesn't bring you joy or pleasure in your life, then this is where you want to go and internally and ask questions to your higher guidance system. And your answers will come through in the form of visions, in the form of feelings and emotions. They may even come through in the form of direct communication like we're giving you today. But you will always receive information to help you understand why you've gone through what you've gone through and why something is happening the way it is. And so keeping that level of sensitivity and responsibility with every choice and every action that you make whilst you're down here is an absolute paramount. And in fact, that is the key to your journey on Mother Earth. Always keep on checking in with yourself and use these principles that we have shared with you. There's a lot to understand in the world of energy, as you'll probably recall on many other transmissions that we've brought through. There's lots of factors to consider, the different frequency bands, the multiple versions of yourself all occurring at the same time, and the intentional effort that it requires for you to match yourself with those frequencies in order to have that experience on your perceived timeline. So there's lots to understand, but you must understand, like we say, and we keep repeating ourselves, this great responsibility. And now more so than ever, you will find yourselves taking hold of that responsibility with both hands, and your lives will turn around a lot faster in the direction of your truth, in the direction of your purpose, now that you're aware of it. There's a lot to understand, and there's going to be people around you, shall we say, losing their heads, losing their minds, not knowing which way to turn, whether this direction or that direction. These people will naturally gravitate towards those people like your good selves that are listening, of a high vibrational frequency, people that are in touch with the truth, are in touch with their alignment, their soul path, and people will look to you for help, guidance, and most importantly, inspiration, because after all, you cannot live their life for them. They have too got to make conscious choices and take responsibility for those choices. So you see, by influencing you in this way, in this talk, this communication today, we're opening the floodgates for you to connect with your higher truth and to live that truth, because there is, shall we say, many people, many souls watching your every step, and they are influenced by your choices and your decision-making processes. We hope this information has at least given you something to think about and understand that you hold the key to your... I'm going to make a rhyming word. You hold the key to your destiny. Let's keep it at that, shall we? Then you can remember the content that we've shared with you. So thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure, as always, to come through in this manner in order to get this information through. I'm going to hand over now to another communicator that wishes to come through and share a little bit of wisdom with you.
We are here to help you to understand the essence of life, the essence and importance of energy, and how you can interact and flow with it. Flowing with life also has a great degree of responsibility, because you're making that choice to release your grip on reality and trust whether it's feeling right in your heart or not. And that decision-making process will help you to go in alignment with the flow of the universe. Now, the universe is constantly giving and receiving information in every second, in every moment that you can possibly conceive. And so the energetic highway, the traffic energetically and informational energy that is being transferred is quite immense, as you can imagine. So in order to connect with your truth and what aligns with you, we will certainly prescribe sitting in silence, connecting with nature, and allowing you to be the observer of the thought patterns that are moving in and out, in and around your mind. Because you do not retain the thoughts, you simply connect with them and share the frequency of them, and then let them go again, and they carry on living. You see, thoughts are very energetic packets of information that come and that go, and it is upon what you place your focus, your intention, your desires on, will see you connecting with that packet of information and bringing that information forward, not only for yourself, but for the benefit of one and all. But most importantly, to get to this level of consciousness, you must go through a practice of meditation, allowing your body, your mind, your soul to all relax and unwind and just accept with your intentions of love and light the beautiful alignment that is taking place under this process. And in doing so, you will be aligning with this calm, collective, peaceful vibration, which will in turn allow you to be the observer of the thoughts passing through and around your mind. In the beginning, you will find it quite unusual, as you will feel like a third party, looking in and observing all of these interactions. It is a beautiful position to be in when you are at that level of consciousness. It takes practice, it takes care, it takes determination and repetition in order for you to reach this level of consciousness. But when you have, you accept things for what they are, what they were, and you start and practice the discipline of non-attachment, just allowing things to be, and being that observer, and extracting lessons and wisdom from what you're observing. That way you are freeing yourself from any heavy burdens, any emotional cause of attachment, or melodrama that is simply awaiting you to interact in order to manifest it into your reality. So staying in that peaceful alignment will be very rewarding, not just for you, but for the greater good of humanity, and in doing so. There's a lot to understand. We are absolutely sure of that, but we don't want to overwhelm you with lots of detailed information, so we're bringing it forward in this easy-to-understand fashion. And we hope that we are not communicating in riddles. We hope that we are making sense to you, bringing this information in. So thank you for taking the time to listen. We have one more communicator that is wanting to express some information with you. So goodbye for now, and we'll communicate with you at a later stage.
One of the greatest lessons that you'll ever learn in your life will be love. That is the greatest essence, the greatest power. We're not talking about the vibration of romantic relationships, or shall we say liaisons in that respect. We're talking about the frequency that we all describe as love. Now that frequency is it's the very ingredient that holds the universe together. There's elements of the universe, as you will understand, that does contain lower base frequencies, but nothing can outgrow the power and the vibration of love. And these lower based, shall we say, energy forms, because they do come in many forms, can't sustain their connectivity, can't sustain their sense of being when this vibration of love is strongly present. The reason why we bring this communication through to you, and it is an important communication to you, is that you must endeavor to keep and hold this vibration of love in your heart and emit it from your very being, through your essence, as a collective species, the human race, will help to heighten the vibration of the planet, will also create your heaven on earth, the very place that you all deserve and want to be a part of. But it takes great power, great responsibility to discern
a lot of old belief systems, old alignments, old information that does not retain this energy of love, this frequency, this vibration of love. And you will feel it. You will feel it in your core, in your very being, when something's not matching with that frequency. It will have a resistance feeling. It won't flow. It will try its best to take you, to derail you off your purpose. And when this does occur, this is when you need to go internally, inside your emotions, inside your thoughts, and observe them, like the previous communicators have alluded to. This is where that technique of practicing the art of non-attachment but observing comes into play, because you can see what's actually and feel what's actually going on. And when you do that, you can turn that vibration around into that vibration of love, that higher frequency that we are talking about today. And simply a way of doing that is to take your attention off of those belief systems, those thought patterns that are pulling you down, that are causing your life not to flow correctly, and start and shift that focus on what you do want to manifest, what you do want to live through in your current space, in time and reality. When you do that as a collective, your species, your environment, your Mother Earth will change, and it will change right before your eyes. But it takes great courage to step outside of the pack mentality that you've all been indoctrinated into believing is the right way. It's the right way, yes, when you're all connected to the harmonious tone of the love frequency. But anything other than that is simply imprisonment, enslavement, and the degradation of mankind. So that's all we've got to say to you today. But be mindful and remember, love is the key that binds everything together. And so why not accept that invitation of being part of the greater good for all? Thank you for listening. We hope to come through at a later stage in another communication. But for now, we hope you find this information of benefit and will help you make sense of what's truly going on underneath the surface of what you're being presented to in your now time-space reality on the earth plane. We send you our love unconditionally and our blessings, and we bid you a farewell.
Wow, again, what a wonderful transmission there from the world of spirit. Wonderful to hear about knowing who we are, that we need to take more responsibility for our own actions and our vibration there as well, and connecting from the heart as well to link with our truth and get that wisdom to help us move forward in our life as well. Trusting the flow being a prominent point as well, because sometimes we do feel a bit anxious about letting go in our lives, don't we? So interesting to hear that wisdom coming through. And also meditation is key to in connecting with our high vibrations and also getting our answers there. And what was beautiful at the end there was that communicator that brought that the greatest power is indeed love, as it binds everything together, and to hold that vibration of love in order to help heal our mind, our body, our spirit, and also to help those around us and uplift our universe as well. So next we're moving on to the next segment of the show, which is your weekly energy forecast reading. So for this week, so sit back, relax, and listen to this week's forecast. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday, the 23rd of January 2023. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers, and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards
So what I'm going to do now is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out at random and right on cue. As always, one has just done that. So this is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm going to link in with that vibration and energy and see what comes forward for you. First of all, I'm being told that just be aware around yourself this week as you'll start to notice that people will stare at you and they will what we would refer to as double take. So they'll go for a second glance. And this is simply because your vibration, your energy is changing, it's shifting, and you'll have a certain aura of flow and a glow about you. And it will attract people towards you, whether you desire that or you don't. You're just going to be more mindful and aware of that. You do need to, however, keep yourself in a bubble of protection of light. So it's up to you how you go about doing that, just so other people don't leech from your high vibrations this week. Also, you'll need to set some healthy boundaries within your life with people that are maybe taking liberties with your time, with your energy, and you need to rein in a little bit and let people know what you're willing and what you're not willing to accept. This is a very healthy process to go through as it allows you to honor the truth of who you are, which is divine love, and it enables you to share that divine love with those that need it the most at this time. Can you also be aware this week there's going to be a realization come to you, and this realization is about your calling, your true calling. So those of you that aren't aware of your true calling and your life path, you're going to be given that inspiration. You're going to have a feeling about what it is you're meant to be doing that's going to help the greater good of humanity. And you'll get this inspiration incrementally. And so you might hear a song. Pay attention to the songs, by the way, as they will be offering you some wisdom and insights with this. You may get that inspiration in the form of repetitive thoughts, or somebody around you that's mentioning something over and over and again to you. Be aware of that. That is part of the message coming into you to help you connect with your true calling, your true purpose. Now, do not worry about your finances and things of that nature, your security. You're going to be perfectly okay. As long as you listen to your calling, your truth of your heart, what purpose it is you're meant to be doing, and you follow the baby steps that are given to you by the world of spirit. Once you start doing this, you'll notice that your life will flow and all your needs will be met from the angelic realm and the world of spirit in order for you to fulfill your purpose on this earth plane. Can I also say, pay attention to your hunches this week as well, because there will be situations connected to the family that you'll just have a feeling about. My guides are saying to tell you not to broadcast this emotion out to everybody else and just sit tight with it, but trust those emotions, because otherwise you may come across as a little bit forward, a little bit arrogant, and in fact you're not. You're just getting that insight ahead of time. So just allow things to unfold and just be there for people when they need you the most. So I'm going to turn over this card now for you for this week's energy forecast reading, and right at the top there we've got 6 of Earth. So I'd like you to research the angel number 6, as I feel that will be very prominent. You'll get another message should you choose to do that. Earth represents, actually going back to the number 6, I've just been shown a dice, and so the roll of a dice, the lucky number 6. So there's something about you making a choice and leaving an element to chance, and then making that choice, and know that everything's going to work out beautifully for you. Earth would indicate that you do need to be more present in your life. So rather than going off on these little daydreams, you need to be aware of your physical senses, your sight, your hearing, your emotions, the temperature in the area, the sound, because that will bring you in your now moments, which indeed is where your true calling and your true power is. And you can make that conscious decision wisely from the perspective of the heart there. At the bottom of the card, it reads charity, generosity, and windfall. With this being the case, I feel as though it's going back to what we were saying earlier.
knowing where to give your time and who to give your time and energy to, and having those healthy boundaries there whilst you're doing that. And then you can serve and help as many people as possible that require your help, that require your beautiful energy. So just be aware of this, because there's going to be a lot of people, like I said earlier, that are going to be attracted to you, maybe on an energetic level or even physically. You'll notice this will be very prominent this week. So bear this in mind and choose wisely. Choose your calling from the heart there. It's also saying generosity. That would indicate your generosity of spirit, your generosity of time as well. And so again, it links with setting those boundaries, and only you can decide who and what you're going to help, what situation and what people you're going to help. And of course, windfall, that's just being open to the universe bringing some beautiful blessings in. Whether this is financially, it could even be in the form of romantic endeavors. It could be in the form of respect or appreciation. But however, whichever form that this abundance falls at your feet, it will come with love, and you've got to be open to accept that, because you give so much time and energy yourself out to others. It's now time this year for you to learn to offset that balance and to learn to receive. So be aware of that. Then you'll have more energy, more resources to help and give others. So if you see it in that perspective, you won't feel bad about receiving and allowing yourself to receive. So looking into the artwork of the card, we've got the color of green around the edges, which indicate growth. It indicates the heart chakra, following that calling. And again, this would link with what we were saying about your life path and your life purpose. Following that true calling, listening to the heart vibrations. In the artwork of the card, we've got this beautiful angelic feminine energy there, and she's absolutely beaming. Just look at that beautiful smile on her face there. So it's telling you to honor your sensitivity this week. Her wings are ready to take flight. So quite literally, it's telling you to be ready and be open to receiving, and just go for it. Stop putting the roadblocks in the way. When opportunity comes your way, just start and say yes. Trust your emotions, trust that feeling from the heart, say yes and go for it. And you'll be absolutely amazed at how things unfold for you. Now, also looking at her as well, she's got her arms open wide there. So again, that's indicating for you to be more open to receiving. Giving, you give very easily. That's a natural gift for you, but you need to be more open to receiving. So be aware of that. It will give you more resources, more energy, more time, so that you can give and help others with your generosity. There's lots of coins there. In fact, there's 6 in the card there. We've already mentioned to you to research the angel number of 6, but coins would indicate several things. One is abundance. The other thing is turning over the coin, flipping a coin, maybe leaving an element to chance and then trusting that wisdom from the universe and going with it as well. Also, gold would indicate communication. Good communication is favored for you this week. Rather than you bottling things up emotionally or whatever's on your mind, you need to express yourself clearly and openly with people, even if you feel a little bit uncomfortable about doing this. In the long run, you'll be glad that you did. And of course, there's lots of nature in the background, lots of greenery. So going out into nature will help ground your energies. It will also give you that abundance from Mother Earth as well. And it will allow you to discharge some of the old belief systems and energies that you maybe have held onto for quite some time. So getting out there will help you in the long term of things. And also, as we look at this angelic being, you can see she's got lots of heavenly vibes around her head there. So again, that would indicate inspiration coming to you this week. So I hope that resonates with you. This is for this week's energy forecast reading. Thank you for liking, hearting, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed what you've seen on here, you would like a one-to-one private reading or a 12-month recorded forecast reading with myself, please get in touch with go to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can find me on Facebook. In the meantime, you can listen to my radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on pulsetalkradio.com, and the show's called From Beyond with Glenn Boddice. Take care. Well, there's a lot to consider for this week, isn't there? So keep his eyes peeled and his ears open, so to speak. If you've enjoyed this week's show and you have any stories or show suggestions that you'd like to share with us on here, then contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com or glennboddicalive.co.uk. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you same place, same time next week at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on pulsetalkradio.com. Take care and God bless.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to glennboddicespiritualmedium.com.